pandemic got us into a reflective space and made us look inward to see what we can do for the world at large. As a self expression coach, I became a catalyst for women and started Vani, a one on one coaching program for women on finding their voice, to speak up, to be visible. As a storyteller, I spotted there were many ordinary people amongst us leading extraordinary lives, making a difference to the world, and they needed to be heard. Thus was born You and I with Rashmi Shetty, where amazing personal journeys with their uniqueness and individuality are showcased, a reaffirmation of the fact: open your eyes wider. The world is far more beautiful when we acknowledge the presence of both you and I. Our guest today is Shrenik Shah, who is thriving and inspirational, having fought stage 4 vocal cords cancer to becoming a motivational speaker. His life, that was blessed with family and a career, changed one morning when he discovered his voice left him. The medical intervention helped, but the natural ability to speak was gone for good. He, however, resolved to let his new voice be the guiding light for people. We can all do better with help and the sound of silence, he says, a choice that makes him a winner of multiple global awards. Amongst those is the prestigious Patient Leader Hero Award of 2021 from WEGOHEALTH USA out of 21,000 nominations. He says, based on global endorsements and numerous soulful comments received from patients, caregivers, super specialists, medical professionals, educators, and fellow influencers, I was shortlisted to the first position amongst the top 6, followed by winning the title as the Patient Leader Hero Award. And towards my advocacy activities, which is a very prestigious recognition on a global platform, especially with my differently abled, unique voice and topics. Listen in as he shares how silence can have sound. Shrenik ji, it was, I think, a month or a month and a half ago when I first saw you on a webinar, and I was so touched by your story, which you shared generally. And post that, I was like, oh my God, I never took his email ID. How will I get in touch with him? Because I thought this was a story that needed to go out. And a common friend got us in touch again. I really thank Koshi for getting this going. And it is so wonderful that the universe conspired to get this conversation on. And therefore, heartfelt gratitude for agreeing to do this. And welcome to You and I with Rashmi Shetty. This has been a fantastic journey for me, and having people like you who are so inspirational adds to the beauty of this journey. You are energy, you are positivity, you are always smiling. I want to know what little Shrenik was to the Shrenik Shah that the world knows today. So, can you take us through that journey?
I born in 1952. I was the youngest member to my parents. I have one brother, two sisters. My sister, eldest sister, she is now 86. Brother, 81. Another sister, she is 77. And I am into 70. But, during all my talks, you know, I am always uh, I'm always willing, or rather, I always mention that I am 25, married, having wife, say 68. So let me give during all my talks, I make sure to mention that I am 25 because physically I could be older, but with my head, with my mind, with my brain, and of course with my heart, I prefer to remain 25 all my life. And that is how I'm telling to the audience that I am married. My wife, she's 68. I got two sons, Maulik, Ankit, two daughter-in-laws, Meghna and Rival, and two grandsons, Diwan and Khan. Khan is 4 years old, is here in London. So, the reason of telling 25 is very precise. Like, why do we need to grow older at least by it? No, no point. And once you are committed to remain 25, you can accomplish all your dreams. You can participate in your life as a marathoner, and that's what making difference. So whoever is like worried, whoever is having fear of the life, etc., they can watch this video or this audio podcast rather, and realize that if this fellow is doing so much at this age, what does we do usually at the age of 60, anywhere in India or abroad, people are thinking now that now it is time to retire. And in my life, there is nothing like retirement. I am telling to my family members that I am going to work till last day of my life, and I must share one important, uh, important. I would say my willingness, or rather, what I'm really doing now. The on an average, the youngsters, they got another 30, 40, 50 years to work with, and I really have maybe another 5, 10, 15 years or whatever. So when the young generation, they are moving at the speed of 100 mile or 100 kilometers per hour, I am traveling or rather navigating my own life at a jet speed that is 800 kilometers an hour, because I want to accomplish everything possible in this life. Pata nahi kal ho na ho. So it's my dream, and yes, I would love, and I'm rather committed to build the largest ever legacy as a Shrenik Shah vocal cord cancer survivor in fourth stage, and currently in my 25th year.
Okay, so that's where the secret of the 25 years comes in. So, when it comes to your schooling, your college, what kind of an attitude did you carry, Mr. Shrenik, all through your childhood, your adulthood, your teenage years? Where did you grow up, and what were your influences?
Well, actually, I was the youngest family member of my parents. I got my sister, she's 86, brother 81, sister 77, and I was the fourth member of my family. And believe me, my parents, they were 100% down to earth, and most cultural attitude they got. And there were, in those days, particularly Ahmedabad, English medium was not popular. So I did all my schooling in Gujarati medium, and you will be surprised to note that I learned English, writing English, and everything in a four liners note at the in my age standard, and that was the beginning of learning catching English. But then subject was much close to my heart, and I did my graduation in English medium as well. So that means rest in the history. I enjoy speaking everywhere in the world in English. And that's the life of my school and graduation. And believe me, I was not 100%, 1000% introvert person. I mean, I was living in my own shell, enjoying music, and like mind my own business. That's it. So that was my schooling time. In I graduated in 72 with doing chemistry, and organic chemistry was my most favorite topic. One more thing, I must like to share one more point. When in those days there was no 12th standard, and in 11th standard, that is in final SLC exam, in that was a paper in chemistry. You'll be surprised. I completed 3 hours, paper of 3 hours in less than 1 hour, because chemistry was again my most popular subject and I learned a lot. So when I returned to my home, my parents scold me like, how come you come so early? You should have stayed back. I said I have completed everything, and I got 85 marks out of 100 by completing that chemistry paper in 1 hour. So doing things to my best is what I enjoy, and what happens is, like, when I see things when I see things looking impossible, I grab it and make sure that it becomes from impossible to possible, and that's what I rather love like anything, and that's what Shrenik Shah as of now is.
It's really beautiful to see that attitude of impossible turning to I am possible. So can you take us through this inspirational journey that you are invited to speak in so many different spaces, but what happened, how and when did you get diagnosed with this cancer, and what were the first feelings that came over you when the doctors gave you the prognosis?
Sure, let's really let me brief a bit. About 25 years of my professional life or business life before I was diagnosed with the cancer. I traveled to Mumbai for the very first time at the age of 20. Before that, I never traveled into a train. So that was the starting point. And then I joined the family business, and I started international business, international traveling, and I was known as a trendsetter in export business, and I've been to 37 countries from 1985 till 96, 11, 11 years in a row, 200 plus overseas trips, and I would say 80% of my life was at 37,000 feet, because I was commuting between India and Europe, US, South America, and I was always trying odd countries where there are opportunities, and I had a lot of business like anything. In 85, the turnover of my company was 40 lakhs, and in those days 40 lakhs was quite small. So jump from 40 lakhs to 14 crores in span of another 7 8 years. I represented American Japanese joint venture for 7 years in a line in a row, on a exclusive basis, or rather exclusive representative of two companies. One is American and another was Japanese American joint venture. So that was my previous life. Okay, now answering your question, this life 2.0 is, I would say, fabulous, fascinating, amazing, awesome, incredible, whatever you say. And Actually, I have never smoked, never used tobacco. I'm strict vegetarian and non-alcoholic. And in first half of 1997, I started losing my voice, normal voice. That I was 44 at the time, and my voice started from normal to hoarseness and to whispering. I've been to ENT surgeon. They did all examination, but somehow they could not diagnose that cancer was developing in early stage. And then in first half of August, I had a severe breathing problem to the extent that I was feeling like I am at the bottom of swimming pool and trying hard to survive, trying hard to get out of the water, and that was the worst situation for me. And then and one morning I started bleeding in my cuff. I've been to my family physician is now in Washington DC, Dr. Trivedi, and he said we can't wait anymore now. And I wanted to go to cancer surgeon right away. He called up Dr. Patel there in Ahmedabad, and we've been there. Myself and my wife at that time. My son Maulik, he was in Australia. He was 20 years old, and another son Ankit, who is now in London. He was 18 years at that time. So we went to doctor, he examined, and he is a cancer surgeon. He's now number one in Gujarat. So he examined me and said, Shrenik bhai, I suspect cancer. I said, fine, no worries. Tell me what is to be done. He said, you really don't have much of the time, and we must perform massive surgery. I said, fine. When do you want me to enter? When do you want me to get admitted into the hospital? He said, sooner the better. I said, fine, we'll come over tomorrow because we need to speak to our family. That's it. And I got admitted. Now there were two things. We never opted for second opinion, and number two, when he said that you need to undergo surgery in a jiffy, I and my wife Neelam, we said no worries, we are ready for the surgery or whatever to be done. The reason was for me at that point of time important was survival. Doctor did tell me that look, after surgery you will not be able to speak all your life naturally. I said fine, no worries. For me important is survival. अगर अच्छे गए तो बाकी सब मैनेज हो जाएगा, अगर अच्छे नहीं तो फिर मैनेज कहाँ से होने वाला है. It was as simple as that. And so I underwent massive surgery for about 9.5 hours, followed by 30 rounds of radiation. And from September, so this 5th September 2022, I will be completing 25th year of my journey, and a new chapter, or other new year, as 26th year will start. So from September till December, I simply use pen and paper. Now, Rashmi, let me ask one question to you. Imagine you are, you are one of the best podcasters, and you are known globally. And when you want to start interview, and the moment you you start speaking, and if the voice is not coming out, what will be the first impact at your end? Tell me.
Unbelievable for one, something that I cannot imagine. But yes, Total state of shock. I would be wondering why, but it'll be complete silence over which I have no control. Disappointment, shock, uh, and complete non understanding of the situation is what I would react. Now,
Exactly. It's going to be a combination of frustration, depression, anger, shock, everything, and that is the life I'm living since 1997, and this is going to be the fact of the life all my men till I live. So that was the case, and then I started using pen and paper for 3 months, and then my cancer surgeon Dr. Patel he suggested that you better use this device. So we got it from US, and that's how I started speaking. And in those time, Rashmi, the speech language therapist or any kind of assistance was not available in India, because now, I mean, for example, there are 72,000 speech language therapists in US, too many in UK, and now there are number of SLPs even in India. They are graduating, learning, and practicing already in India. Within those days, there was none. So, using this device, I started speaking, practicing for 1 week, and the funniest part when I went out and started speaking in public, people were scared. They have never heard such type of voice ever, particularly in Ahmedabad. And believe me, they were running away from me. And I must admire. I'm rather grateful, and I'm gratitude to all those individuals by joining my truants, that because of those individuals who ran away, who were scared, that was a challenging situation. That was a turning point in my life. And then I decided that I cannot give up. And again, I'm a businessman. I'm into international marketing, and we pretty well know that job bolta है वही बिकता है. I mean, at the and during those time there was no mobile, there was no internet, so it was not easy to have a business without speaking. So I started practicing and started speaking in public, and my goal was very simple, that so far as I am audible by myself, like if I understand, if I can listen to what I'm talking, people will start understanding me slowly and gradually. So 13 years, that is from December 1997 till 2010, I continued my business, international traveling, and what is the best part? You will be once again surprised that this unique voice has given me a distinct identity. Whenever I was talking to my overseas buyer or anybody over telephone, I did not have to announce my name that this is Shrenik Shah. They can immediately recognize who is on the other line. So this is God's grace. And believe me, like I said, so in the last month, in one of my talk, that I do not have complaint box in my life. Zero, no complaint box. And once you don't complain, once you don't even complain box, you are least bothered. You need not have to do anything with the complaint, because there is no complaint, and you can easily focus on whatever you want to do it in your life. So that was in my till 2010.
okay, 2010. And here is someone who could have stopped by just being frustrated, angry, and disappointed with what life had thrown. But you decided to take the attitude of, okay, come what may, let me see what next. So, that tenacity that you have, that resilience that you have to fight what life threw as a challenge to you, what is it that kept you motivated, Shrenik? Because looking at how it must have felt, because when you asked me that question, I gave you an answer, but I still cannot feel what it feels like to be in that situation. So, for somebody who was there, for somebody who was traveling so much, a successful businessman, suddenly when the voice is taken off, what is it that kept you pushing yourself forward? What is it you wanted? Okay, जो बोलता है वही बिकता है is one thing for business, but how did you keep yourself so positive in the midst of all of this?
Well, there are a couple of things. I was the only earning member of the family, so that was the first challenge in my life. And secondly, I realized that if I'm going to mute myself, that means what happened to my family, what happened to my both the sons. They were graduated, and they have to start their own professional career. So circumstances made me a compelling person. Number one, and number two, I realized that if I will not speak, that means I have to accept on the retirement. I will be sitting in the corner, killing my time, and so on, and which was never, never accepted that I can keep quiet and do nothing. That means, on the contrary, of course, there is a attachment from family, etc. But at the same time, people will feel like, now he's of no use, useless person. And I was not willing to die because of mental health, like doing nothing. So that was a challenging situation, but I enjoyed, and I decided that I'm I must come out of this situation, and I have realized two more things. You know, the life given by the Almighty is the best free gift ever, wrapped with a smile like this. And we cannot waste this life. We cannot stop smiling, because once you smile, you are bringing smile to the millions. And that's my strategy, and that's how I continued my business, speaking, and everything. So that was probably, this is what I wanted to answer. And well, I will be more than able to speak about my journey thereafter. That is from 2011.
Sure. And when you were given this device, and you were told that okay, with this device you can definitely share your thoughts and speak. How long did it take you to accept something else helping you or aiding you? Was it joy that first came to you, or was it disappointment, rejection? Because obviously your voice is very different now to what it was. So, what went through your mind? At least I can speak, I can be heard. What what all was the process of accepting this?
Look, acceptance was instant. Acceptance was instant. It was like getting out of the swimming pool and you can breathe easily. That was the sheer acceptance. But then, at that point of time, it was much more of the necessity than anything else. Because, as I said, and the question I ask you, like, if I cannot speak or if you cannot speak, what will be the frustration, anger, and so on. And I prefer not to live in that trauma at any point of time, even in those days or even now. So for me, important was not a problem. Important was solving the problem and getting out of the problem.
Practical approach, and solving the problem and getting out of it is what is important, because every problem comes with its set of solutions. And the focus most of us many a time do is try and control the situation, while you took a very practical approach of looking at the problem and looking at the solution in hand.
I'd like to share one more secret to the question you asked me, and again, in continuation to our conversation, I would like to show you one poster, and probably that would reveal the entire secret of,
Yoga.
well, evidently, yes, it is yoga and that posture, but you know, this posture illustrates, rather demonstrates total flexibility. If you can see the shape, I mean, the entire postures all over, and the flexibility starts with four major factors. The first, acceptance. Second, confidence. Third is courage, and fourth is commitment. So this flexibility is made of all these four components, and of course dedication as well, because without dedication you can do nothing. So that is the all about flexibility and whatever I am. And now, coming to my journey as a speaker, counselor, mentor, whatever. In 2011, I got a phone call from my cancer surgeon, like, would you mind coming over to the hospital? There is a patient and is reluctant for undergoing surgery, because, I mean, when he was told, like, you got a cancer, I mean, same as me, and he was scared, not willing to undergo surgery. And I can see that, I mean, probably he had the same situation as you, and it is quite obligatory that he is being undergo the surgery. I said, no, no worries, I will come right away. So, leaving all my work, I've been to the hospital, and believe me, this is my practice at every given point, that when patients or doctors wanted to reach me out and they want me to come out to the hospital, I leave all my work and go to the hospital. So that was the case. So I did counseling for about half an hour, explained to him, like, look, at that time, that was my 15th year. So I told him, look, my friend, this is my 15th year. I was diagnosed with stage 4, and I will survive, and you are going to survive. But believe me, if you will not undergo surgery, I'm sorry to tell you that probably your family, you will have to part from your family. And so he understood everything black and white, and said, is it fine? And in no time, he underwent the surgery and things went on. But that first counseling in 2011, that was that created a wonderful spark within me. I realized that how many cancer patients are living with the trauma, and let's not forget, not only cancer patients, but family, spouse, kids, everybody, they can see that one of the closest family member is dying in front of them, And so that's how I started counseling in several private hospitals, given lectures to the patients, caregivers. Believe me, at number, I would say at least more than 100 occasions. I was the first speaker ever invited by hospitals, by NGOs, by corporates, etc. to inspire the patients, caregivers, family members, and that was the case. And I remember my cancer surgeon, he complimented then Shrenik by because of you we trust in our own skills. Yes, I mean they are qualified, they are doing their best, but ultimately when they see the results coming out and when they see that okay, these fellows survive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000, 2,000, then they will be they will be like they will feel like our dedication contributions are worth doing whatever we have learned in oncology or in the field of cancer treatments. We are doing at our best. So probably my journey turned out as a catalyst for them to continue their contributions on the global platform. And so 2011 till 2015, I continued counseling countless number of patients and so on. Again, I would like to share one very important example. During those days, there was one patient in the private hospital. I saw him in the evening. He was from Kenya and he was to undergo surgery the next morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. Where I got a phone call from his daughter that uncle, would you please come down to the hospital because my father want to see you. My father want to see you before he goes for the surgery into the operation theater. I said, don't worry, I'll be there in next 30 minutes. And in no time, I went there and I sit with him and wish him good luck, everything. And then, he went for the surgery. Now, look, there was nothing like give and take, or I did not do that for the sake of money. No, and I never asked either. But somebody is calling you at 6 o'clock in the morning. Look, I am not a doctor, right? I'm not a doctor, but when somebody, our family member, caregiver is calling you at 6 o'clock in the morning, that uncle, will you please come over to the hospital? My father wants to see you before he undergo this surgery. Believe me, this is the biggest ever award. Forget about physical award, forget about digital award, but this one single instance can change your life like anything, and this is the biggest ever accomplishment for me. So that is how I am fueling my journey as a counselor, coach, mentor, and a speaker. And then at the end of 2015, to inspire number of individuals through social media and through my talk, I made one poster. Let me show you. When you will see this poster, you will feel that or other people will feel that this man is crazy. But believe me, I am inclined to make. I'm humble to mention that I am inclined to make things possible which looks absolutely impossible.
Yeah,
Can
there is
you?
a
Can you?
beautiful life even after cancer.
And then I continued my counseling and on other degrees along with speakers as an influencer and speaker. And in 2020, I made new poster.
It's thrilling life even after cancer.
So you know what and why I don't need to promote myself. No, why should I? But I would like to let people realize that cancer is really not the death sentence or not end of the life. It's a new beginning, new chapter of the life. It's all about mental wellness, mental health, apart from treatment and other factors. So mental health plays, yeah, as a survivor, and let's not forget that when you are strong enough as a patient, as a survivor, or as a warrior, you are fueling the life of your own family. Because, and I must admit that without caregiver's presence, life of a patient is 100% incomplete, because whatever they deliver by default without an expectation. So I must express gratitude to all caregivers on this planet by joining my hands.
That's so true. That's so true. Caregiving actually can exhaust the caregiver at some point of time, and they
Yes.
go through similar pains as much as the patient suffering too.
Or rather, I would say much more, because I mean, they cannot imagine what pain he or she is suffering, and on the other hand, they cannot take the pain of the spouse or the pain of the family members. So that is quite devastating. So it's all about, you know caregivers are playing credible role. I mean, about patient, forget about everyone. Caregivers are to be awarded every single day, every single day. No condition is applied. You don't need to fill in the form. That okay, you fill in the form for getting qualified or notified as a award. I mean, they deserve award on every single day, unconditionally.
That's so true. That is so true. I wanted to ask you a story. You already shared a story of what shifted to you. Is there any story that will remain an eternal favorite for you, that you are on the right path and this path is what you were cut out for in recent times?
Yeah, most certainly. And I would prefer to share one real life example where, let me share the example right away before telling anything further. There is a lady, or rather, there is, yes, there is a lady in Calcutta. She approached me through social media. She had thyroid cancer, underwent surgery in Tata Memorial, Mumbai, and then she wanted follow up with the cancer surgeon in Tata Memorial. She called me up. Now I would like to share the magic of this unique voice. So she called me up and said like, I'm due for follow, but I'm unable to manage the appointment, and usually in Tata Memorial, like many general hospital, it takes its own time for getting examined. You have to sit for some 5, 4, 5, 6 hours. When your turn will come, because it is always overcrowded with the patients. So she called me up, and I said, "Don't worry." Now the important point was, when she called up, she was Rashmi, she was 24 weeks pregnant. She had a baby. She was expecting mother. She had a baby in the womb, and she called me up. I said, "Don't worry, I will do the needful." I called up the cancer surgeon right away and said, "Sir, there is a lady. You operated her a few years back, and she needs follow up, and being 24 weeks pregnant, it is hard for her to sit down in the hospital for a long time. And so he said, Shrenik, don't worry, ask her to come over tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. room number so and so, and will be taken care of. I told her, go to Mumbai, manage everything, and see the doctor at such and such time, and everything will be taken care of. And believe me, Rashmi ji, in less than hour, she was through with the entire examination. So, such, and now imagine, see, these doctors, they are totally occupied like anything. They have so many things to do. Their priorities are countless. Now making things possible, sparing time for patients. I mean, doctor would have told me that, okay, no, Shanik, talk to my secretary and she will do the report, etc. This that, but in no time he said, come on, ask her to come tomorrow. I mean, I don't think that should be that cannot be a better accomplishment than this. Cannot be bad. And look, say, when you are supporting a human being, that is one point. But when you are supporting a human being which is who is yet to come on this earth, that makes a lot of difference. Because, I mean, you could be addressing thousands of people online or during in-person show, but the baby who is yet to born, supporting her and supporting the baby's mother, that makes a lot of difference. So
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And I think that's where you start realizing that you are the dot that God has placed in order to make sure that there is positivity still around. When, this word cancer itself has so much of negativity around it, but what comes out of it is a lot of beautiful relationships that you have built over the years. So I understand now where you get this positive vibes from, because I think life has given you the blessing of being able to smile and making sure that that smile is transferred to the other people who are in touch with you. Amazing, amazing.
I I, I think so. And therefore, during too many of my talks, I do mention that Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, IIMA, IIMA, that is Ahmedabad, the best premier
Management.
educational institute and universities. You learn beautiful things, no doubt about it. But what you learn from university of experiences, that is amazing, because you don't need to apply, you don't need to do anything, you don't need to enroll, and every single day there is a learning process. So it's all about learning, understanding, implementing, and at last indulging. So when you make combination of all this, you know I don't think anybody can stop you at any point of time. No, it is, I mean, life can be 100% unstoppable.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true because life is what happens while we are busy planning for it. And that's the beauty of all that is happening around us. And the pandemic was our biggest teacher. Everyone went into a reflective space. It was a pause button for a lot of people because suddenly people realized, okay, I need to pause here and see what I can do with life. So, how did the pandemic treat you, Shenty? What is it that you took back after the 2.5 years of the pandemic, which kind of stopped most of us in the spaces we were in?
Well, I during those pandemic phase, first of all, I believe I delivered. I mean, of course, I was not allowed to go out of home because my cancer surgeon said that you should not go out. I mean, you will be easily get infected. So I stayed at home, but I decided to use my time for a quality purpose. and I delivered 200, 200 plus online talks worldwide, and I talked about freedom from fear. Look, see, yeah, when we are born with a smile, at the same time, the number of breaths which we are going to have, that is already decided when we are born, and that's not in our control. I mean, we know that, but we are not willing to accept, or we are not willing to realize. So important is freedom from fear. You need to have a courage. I mean, do it and don't keep things pending for tomorrow. Do it today, do it now. And you know what? When you are doing it now, or when you are doing it today, there is nothing like attitude. Absolutely no attitude, because there is no guarantee when the switch will be off. And like now we are living in the internet and mobile and laptop and everywhere, we are being notified that okay, so meeting is coming on the way, and this that everything, there's notification for going up. You are never being notified, so let's accept that you are not going to be notified when your turn will come. So do everything possible without fear, be courageous, be confident, and last but not least, stay focused and stay committed. Being and see, once you are focused, once you are committed, and then at the end of the day, when your goals are accomplished, these accomplishment are the best ever fuel, best ever free fuel for your life, because that can help you to move on. And if we go to my LinkedIn profile, the first line under the About Us section, the first line I mentioned two lines of Invictus poem. I am the master of my fate, and I am the captain of my soul. And both of these lines are written in my hands, written on my palms, and that's how I start my day. I cannot give up. I'm committed to deliver to my best ability. That's what life is all about. So, and if you want to start anything, what you need is, you have hundreds of strategies, but if you don't put that those strategies into action, the result will be zero. And to initiate those strategies into action, you need to have a courage. Don't worry about failure, because failures will help you to learn something new, and it will let you stop making new mistakes. And even if you make mistakes, still you can deliver, because learning can never be stopped. Today is my 9072 second day of my life with this voice.
Oh, so that's your new book, is it?
Yeah, it's not new. I mean, this was published in June 2020, but I'm really not finding much of the time to promote. I wish you can support me.
Oh, yeah, sure. That's a book written by you. It's a biography.
Yeah, it is biography of friend from Delhi. He wrote it, a young chap about 35 years old, like you. We had a 35 minutes Zoom call, and in no time he said, "No, no, sir, I want to write your biography," and so on. So that was a fabulous opportunity. He's now in Canada. We completed this biography in 45 days, and I did the entire editing of the book.
Wow.
By the way, I must share one more thing.
Sure.
Say, being a proud Indian, and whatever I could deliver in last 10 years, I have received Asian Leader Hero Award on the world largest advocacy platform in the US last year, and that too out of 21,000 global nominations. I got that award in US. So this is what life is all about, and these are my best fuel ever. So be it podcast, be it counseling, be it in person or online talk or whatever. This is my life.
My last question normally is three life lessons, but you have given everything along with the pandemic reflections itself. You definitely, Shrenik ji, have shown us that life matters and the breaths that you take, the magic that is there between those breaths is what life truly is. Thank you so very much for being on You and I with Rashmi Shetty. It's such an honor to listen to your story and share your story. And definitely send me the links of the book that has been written on you. I will share it with people so that if anyone is interested, they can know what exactly to order to read because people like you are a blessing to us and you are there amongst us to make sure our lives matter.
Thank you. Bye bye.
With that, we come to the end of this weekly quest of You and I with Rashmi Shetty. Do let us know if you know people who make the world beautiful. Write in to rashmi.the3rd at gmail.com. That is RASHMI dot THETHIRDEYE at gmail.com. Come, let's explore this amazing world together, both you and I.